Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to another unboxing for G.I. Joe, the deck building game. This is Raise The Flagg campaign expansion. So this is a very different style set than your previous ones because I literally going to have a bunch of missions that you play through in sequential order, with some storylines, some plots, and some interesting things like that. So I'm actually going to end up doing, and there's a giant constructible ship, which we will get to. But I'm going to do is I will do this in a two-parter video. The first one I'm going to go through the brand new main deck cards, kind of the rules of the theming of the thing. And then part two, I'm actually going to do the spoilers, and go through the campaign cards. So if somebody absolutely wants to know everything that's in the set, they can head over, jump into part two, see all the different stuff that's being revealed in the spoilers. I'm not going to read through all the story elements, because there's a lot. There's a decent sized book with different story elements that kind of bring us together versus it just playing like 5 games in a row. But there's extra cards that get revealed and get added on that you get to use and stuff. And I want to do that separately, but I'll just do it in a second part video. But yeah, so it's just kind of a neat idea. It says, over several episodes, the stakes will be raised as decisions and successes and failures compound to create your narrative over your Joe scheme. Keep track of your progress in a campaign log, upgrade the U.S.S. flag, which is our big giant ship here, and take the fight to Cobra and his lackeys. Yeah, so there's a lot of interesting new stuff in here. So one thing we're gonna do is first, we have this ship here. It is big giant massive tiles. So we will look at this. I will build this and I will show this off in this video. I just kind of want to show what it looked like pre-built. We do get 2 different rule books here. We get the regular campaign rule book, which is going to explain, pretty thin, it just explains new cards, new mechanics, stuff like that. And then we have the full campaign manual, which this thing is, it's not like a book, but it's definitely thicker than a regular manual. So let's kind of hop in and just see what's new in here, and then we can get to some of the cards. So we're going to get 20 new main deck cards, plus 5 new leaders and their promoted cards. We're going to get 6 sealed campaign envelopes featuring dozens of additional cards, which these 86 mission cards are actually in the secret envelopes. So they kind of work with those. We have our constructible U.S.S. flag, some Sky Striker jets, and some damage tokens. Here it kind of explains how to build the ship, so I'm going to kind of just skip over that. It's saying, so if you're playing this campaign, you have to use this ship. This is one of these things. So when I originally saw this as like, oh, it's adding a campaign mode, I thought it was going to make a way so you could play other sets of this game in a campaign setting. You could adapt the rules for them to maybe work in that style, I guess, but it's its own game in itself. You use cards from the other things as main decks, but then this is adding its own special thing. We do have a spoiler. It says, do not read the campaign manual or open the envelope before playing. Each episode of the campaign is separated by a clear stop sign. When you see a page of stop sign, do not read any further in manual until you've completed the list of the instructions. So again, I will try and save all of that stuff until video part 2, just not to break this. So your guys' campaign. My campaign mini-series features 5 consecutive games, culminating in a spectacular finale. Depending on your performance in each episode or single game, the choice you make of the team and the stories will change. Now, this is what's really neat about it, is it's not just, hey, here's scenario 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, play through them. And a little bit kind of like minor spoiler for how it sort of works is when you set up the first one, they have 12 episode cards. You pull out 9 of them. So there's going to be a couple that you don't know each time. And then as you go through the game, depending on if you win or lose stuff, you might pull out different missions out of the next different pack. So then the next time you play, hey, we won. Hey, we get these missions instead. Hey, we lost. We have to do these ones instead. So it adds a very interesting element. Or there might be choices to make, like, hey, if you decided to do this versus this, you get different cards that come out of these envelopes. It's not just at the end of each campaign, you open up an envelope and you pull all the new stuff out and play it. You're only taking specific things out. Yeah, so it's definitely kind of a neat idea. So it's supposed to meant to be replayable. There's also a campaign log, which gives you a bunch of different stuff. So if you did something, you gotta write what you did in there, which will make sense. So how you win? You win if you defeat the Act 3 of the final Episode 5. Episode 5, you lose if you ever suffer a total of 3 catastrophic failures. So I'm going to just hop over to that really quick here. Just so we can see what that says. If you did not complete the the Act 2 finale, card 6 is noted in as a catastrophic failure. You need to start over and retry that episode again. So if you beat episode or Act 1 and Act 2 and you head to Act 3, so as long as you complete all of Act 2, you'll move on to the next campaign. So you have to beat Act 1 and 2. Then when you hit Act 3, if you win, you move on. You gain bonuses essentially for winning and doing well. If you lose Act 3, you gain failure, and then you have to, and you keep going on, go to the next story, and then you get to get like, oh, this bad thing happened, maybe like Cobra advanced farther. But if you can't beat Act 2, it's a catastrophic failure. And then if that happens, the first time you have a failure, you get to restart and remove expert mode cards. Players get to draw some extra cards. So basically it gives you a little bit head start. If you have 2 failures, so after the second time, not even on the same campaign, this could be like the first one and then the next time you fail somewhere else. Now you also do that as well. You get to remove stuff, you just start a little bit better. And if you ever fail 3 times total throughout the entire campaign, you can't beat that second act, the game is over. So there is that kind of thing. It doesn't want you replaying. So like, many elite players have the tendency to want to win every episode at any cost. If you lose, don't get discouraged or replay the entire episode to get a better result. The Joes don't win every fight, but that's only if you beat Act 2. If you beat Act 2 and you lose Act 3, don't replay it just so you can get the better ending. Unless it's like your 3rd or 4th time playing through or something, you just want to see what happens in all of them. That's a different idea. But that's kind of interesting how that works. Alright, we're going to hop back into like kind of how to play. So we're going to set this up. The beginning of each episode, set the game is showing a normal core set with the changes to the initial setup. Then turn the starting page of that episode in the campaign manual. So in case, this is kind of neat, so I guess it's the reason why you log stuff in the book is that way, like, you don't have to play 5 games in a row. You could play 3 games, stop, come back, play your last 2. We have a brief, main mission, and debrief. So brief is it'll tell you instructions for the new episode and give you story. Main mission is where it'll actually tell you how you actually play in the game. Your debrief will tell you what happens whether you win or lose. And then during brief sit rep. On the first page of each episode will be listed by a number at the top, followed by the initial briefing. During this brief, you'll receive an overview of Cobra's motives for that episode, what you will need to make sure, set for this new challenge, and make sure to read this aloud for every player. Envelopes. Do not look at the contents before playing. When game asks you to retrieve items, take them from the envelope and place them into the play as required. This can also be outside the initial brief, so make sure to keep the envelopes nearby. Then there's the main mission. Classic game, play it as normal. This is what's also very cool about this. So we have top secret entries. During the episode, you may be asked to read passages from the top secret section of the campaign. These passages have a little briefing with a number. Immediately pause normal gameplay and then read them. So, for example, if you encounter read number 3, turn to the page, turn that entry in the top secret message, and read that. So I'm just gonna brief spoilers just to kind of show you what they mean for that. So, like page 1 here of the campaign manual, we will have Duke's briefings kind of explaining what's happening. Special setup. Open envelope 1, retrieve the story mission card. Take these cards, suck them up. Clean up after every episode. Here's what you're gonna do. If you have a catastrophic failure, as you do, then it says stop reading. You have completed episode 1. Then they have a debrief, resolution, which kind of like explains some of the other stuff. I don't want to get too much into that. And then it goes, what is separated into blue parts, and red and red and white parts. The red and white parts are your top secret. So they're gonna have these little missions here, which are gonna say, hey, if you got 0, you're gonna do this, and it's gonna have maybe some setup effects, does some other different stuff. And this is actually where it's gonna get to some of the interesting things. So, like at the bottom of this one says, you have a choice to make, either head to 4 or head to 5, and this lets you change up maybe how you're doing stuff. It might add different things to the deck, it might limit what you can do, or add different things in starting gameplay, stuff like that. So that's really a cool idea. That you're getting a full narrative, so it's not just, again, it's not just playing through and reading the stuff on the mission cards. I think I'll have a very thematic element of them as well. But you're going to get a bunch of other story things. It's trying to really make the game have a story to it. It says, before cleanup or resetting the game should return to the campaign box through the debrief section. It just adds wins, losses, success, failures, stuff like that. Alright, so new rules and special things. So between episodes, you may need to add new players to the campaign, or have players drop out. The campaign is designed with this in mind. And the only gameplay changes per player count are the ones listed in the core set. So it's kind of neat also as well, is that, I'm playing a 4-player game, right? And all of a sudden, like, hey, we're supposed to have game night, it's Tuesday, so-and-so couldn't show up, we can still play at 3 players. We don't have to wait around for them. And there's just some exceptions for that. The U.S.S. flag faces the functions the base of the operation for the Joes during the campaign with its own special abilities that further affect gameplay. U.S.S. flag is also a special transport that can be used on missions. However, it carries the inherent risk of damage. So the big giant ship here has its own function. It's not just to sit on the table and look pretty. It's a sea transport that can carry up to 5 Joes on a mission. Its capacity is reduced by 1 for each damage on the flag. Similar to the Vamp, it is never discarded from play after a mission. If the U.S.S. flag is sunk on a mission that ends in a failure, the flag always receives 1 damage. So while it can be tempting to use, it may be better saved for crucial moments. The flag also has the ability to take advantage of multiple transports at the same time, then provide them to the Joes for individual use. From now on, transports in the game have a 3-step path during the game. So this is kind of very cool. It's kind of interesting because it changes what it is. So the flight deck. Anytime a new transport is gained or played from the player's hand, it is attached to the U.S.S. flag instead of the hanger. When the U.S.S. flag is used as a transport on a mission, all text abilities on transport are attached to it are activated. When the mission is complete, those transports move directly to the hanger. Then from the hanger, they're used as normal, and then they go to the discard pile. And this is when they're played again, they go back to the flag. So the flag can bring multiple vehicles at once, and give you a lot of extra abilities. Then it can also get damage on the ship as well. It's just kind of showing with sections of the flag, and then it has its vehicle on there. Each section of the U.S.S. flag has an associated upgrade tile, which will be unlocked during the course of the campaign. So the other thing, you can make your ship better, which gives you more abilities. Kind of like the command center in the previous games, is you get little tiles that let you do different things. When the campaign book tells you to retrieve the upgrade, you get to choose which of these 2 options to use the remainder of the campaign. Slide your tiles into the appropriate slot. If a section is damaged, you can't use that tile. And then there's a way to repair it as well. So obviously. Now here it's going to tell us to stop. This is just extra gameplay elements. I'm going to go ahead and read these. They're not spoilers for the game. They're just new elements of the game that are unlocked, which I think are need to be used. We have Cobra transport rules. So there are new Cobra transport cards. I'm not going to get reading all of them, but basically how they work is they're going to be equipped. So to equip a transport, place it underneath a Cobra card. So the Cobra effect is visible at the top of the card. So say Cobra transport, whatever, so it gives +1 difficulty, Sound makes Baroness cost 5 to defeat. If this mission fails, add 1 Cobra Battalion to the lineup. Yes, it's kind of cool. The villains now get vehicles as well to use, which will increase their difficulty. But it's also interesting is commandeering the transports. If you're able to defeat a Cobra card with the exact hit points need, so again, Baroness here at 5, if you can defeat her with exactly 5 hits, you now get to steal that vehicle. Cobra transport function is the same as any other transport, however, the only ability at the bottom of the card can be used. So now this wolf now carries 5 people. Land and Snow has 3 explosives. Just for Snow has 3 trackers. So that's kind of cool. And after a Cobra transport is assigned to a mission from the hangar, it is then discarded to the Cobra transport discard piles. You don't get to keep using it. You get like just a one-time use, but that's definitely a neat little mechanic. They're also pets. Primal Emergency Tactical Squad. This elite squad of animal companions is crucial to the war against Cobra. They provide forward support, defense, and overall morale boost for the soldiers. Once a game is unlocked, the start of each episode, add the pet card of your choice to the starting deck. Ongoing pets from a pet card is placed from your hangar remains in play until it is activated ability. It is not discarded at the end of your turn. Some pets have passive abilities which are active in play, unless otherwise specified pet cards do not currently chosen and cannot start missions. When it's activated for this ability, discard it. So kind of cool. They get to come into play and stay into play. Then we have resetting the campaign. Fully replayable. In fact, you're encouraged to get all the different playthroughs. Once you have completed the campaign, simply return any card gained to the appropriate envelope. It's at the bottom, they'll say envelope with a number, so you know where to put them back. And then here's some stuff for just composing the storyline. Just a little bit of minor spoiler for that. Is they're going to have each asks you to set up a mission with generally having 9 story mission, but there can be stuff that asks you to add extra cards or remove cards. So on the bottom they add you a little number. So this is like for story for Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, but they'll have numbers 1, 2, 3, 8, 9, so on and so forth. So you know which order you have to put them in. Usually you shuffle up all the acts, you don't know which way. Here you have to play them actually in a specific order. So again, this is to maintain the theming. This is one of the downsides, I guess, for me, because it's going to mean a little bit harder. I mean, again, you could integrate other expansions into this idea of having a campaign, doing a campaign type mode, but being the fact is there's cards that specifically come out from these envelopes or are added in, I get where it makes this its own thing, and you can still play these like any other story mode. Would have been neat if they had a way to like integrate the older cards into this. Yeah, so we do have new cards. We have Crimson Guards. Negative skill ability affects all Joes on missions. Overkill ability. So if you complete this mission with those double hits, it's considered overkill. So if you had 5, you'd have to do 10. Ignored, tech interactions. Lots of these aren't too much different. But that is what we have. A little preview of some of our characters. We have, I just want to flip to that campaign page on the back here. Yes, you have like 4 players. Episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Story notes, it says to do something if you won or lost, plus if it's success or a failure, which can be different stuff. Threat levels, just to kind of keep track of all of it. And then catastrophic failure, each time you go and you get to check one of them, just to keep an eye on that. Alright, so we're going to do quick then, is we're going to look at the new deck cards. Then I will show off the ship, and then we will prep for part 2. Alright, so our new cards is we're going to start with some new Joes. We're going to just look at our new Joes quick. We have Wild Card. Very basic one, 2 cost, just 4 vehicle. Sergeant Gridiron, who has martial arts. Immediately flip 1 Cobra officer face down until the start of the next player's turn. Stealer, explosives and vehicles. If this mission includes a non-VAM transport, add +1 to each of Stealer's printed skills. Grand Slam. Assigned Grand Slam to the mission is not counted against the capacity of the transport. Interesting. Airtight. When Airtight is assigned to a mission on another player's turn, he gains +1 wild skill and returns to your hand after the mission is complete. Dial Tone. If this mission is successful, repair 1. So now this one's kind of neat. This is the only thing I think with repair. I don't remember if any of the other, like, if one of the Joe bases or one of those have a repair function as well. I don't remember if they do. If they did, that'd be awesome. This is more useful. Otherwise, like, a card like this is only useful this campaign. Is kind of a bummer. Shooter. Discard 1 card from your hand deck, 1 hit, or remove 1 hit from this mission. You may perform this action twice during this mission. This could be great for hitting that overkill or the exact number. Then we have Quick Kick. You may reroll any green 0 results once this mission. Wetsuit. You may forego Wetsuit's printed skills on this mission to recover once. Or repair once. Then we have our 2 leaders. So we're going to start with, of course, why wouldn't we have U.S.S Flag without Admiral Keelhaul? When the U.S.S Flag is on a mission with Keelhaul, leaders can use their printed ability text to switch other leaders use them. And then we can promote him up. Just reach damage on the U.S.S Flag. Keelhaul gains +1 to his printed skills. When U.S.S Flag is on a mission with Admiral Keelhaul, leaders can use their printed abilities. So again, neat abilities, great characters, but he kind of like wants you to be forced to use it in the campaign. Outside of the campaign, he, not to say he's terrible, but he's probably not as good as he could be. Alright, then we have Shipwreck. Start with Polly in your deck. If this mission succeeds, draw 1 card. If this mission fails, draw 1 complication. And then we have Polly here. So it has still like a blue back, which has one of the pet symbols, has a brown card with the little pet thing. So on missions, if this mission includes Shipwreck, double 1 of Shipwreck's printed skills. If it does not, retrieve a Joe from your discard pile and add it to this mission, ignoring capacity limit. So cool, Polly lets you bring something else with them. Then we have the promoted version of Shipwreck. This mission succeeds, draw 2 cards, fails, draw 2 complications. So risk reward with him. Does not include an upgraded Polly though, unfortunately. We have some new vehicle cards. We have the Mean Dog Tank Land Transport. If you complete this mission with at least double the hits needed, discard 1 Precision Strike from play. The Triple T, which is, oddly, we didn't get a Sergeant Slaughter to go with this one. Land Wild Skill +3 if you're on land -1. And then the Phantom X-19 showing air. So we get, just kind of interesting, we get 2 land, we don't technically get a water one because we have the U.S.S. flag. Discard the 2 complications on this mission if you're aerial +1 wild skill. Alright, our brand new utility cards, reporting for duty. Draw 1 card from your deck. Repeat this until you have drawn a Joe. Improvised Distraction, which, Snake Eyes in a weird dress and wig is hilarious. Discard 1 card from your hand to -1 threat. Teaching an old dog new kicks. And a mission, +1 hit. If you complete this mission, lose double the hits needed. Each player on the mission draws a card. And I'll be taking this. Remove 1 Cobra Transport from this mission and gain it. Definitely helpful. We got some new gear as well. Machete. Discard up to 5 uncovered cards from the lineup, then refill the lineup. Jump, which is the jetpack. This mission is also a sky mission. +1 wild and +2 to skills or vehicles. Nice. Anti-vehicle mine. It's Jeep stuff. Mission, remove 1 Cobra Transport from this mission and gain it. And then finally, we have the emergency dust off. If you complete this mission with at least double hits needed, draw 3 cards. Cool. So we got some extra new mission cards that can, or extra basic cards that can add into this set to get added to a core set. Or you can also do that. You can also add these to other sets as well. So we're really at the exception of Keel Hall and possibly the two guys that have the repair mechanic. Most of them should be usable in any other game. You do a quick pause here, set up the U.S.S flag, and then we'll come right back. Alright, so here is the built U.S.S flag. So it's fairly big. So like compared to a card, you know, it's fairly decent size. So ups and downsides of it, right off the bat, just kind of point this out, is it is very easy to put together and take apart. The bottom piece, this piece here is just pretty much just slotted on the side. It just slides in. Which is two little parts here. So just kind of, so you kind of just bend it in, slides in, snaps into those parts there. I think I'm missing something on that side to hold that in. They have these big slots in here, and then the bottom pieces just kind of slide into these big holes, and then they have little pots there. So it comes apart very easily, which kind of, against, you know, obviously leads to two little bit of downsides. One is it's very big. So pretty much if you don't take it apart every time, you have to have a special spot to store this. Even if you do take it apart, the longest piece is at least disposed in half is from there to there. You still have to have something big enough to start in, which if you've been playing a card game like this, they might not, even though it has all the actual cardboard parts and lots of stuff, it might not have an easy spot to store this. Which kind of leads to the second downside, is if you're playing this too much, with any of these cardboard things, the more you pick them up and you flatten them back out, put them together, flatten them back out. For these and like the bottom tiles, every time you keep taking them apart and flattening them back out, so I start wearing on these joints. So you just always have to keep an eye on worrying about those too, or the little fragile pieces possibly popping off. So there are those. So just, you know, keep that in mind. I think I did this. It's just a slot into that piece there. Like that. That doesn't make sense. Maybe though. Maybe I'm probably missing something on that. Otherwise, it just, yeah, kind of just slides into there. They do have little numbers and letters on the bottom, which are good. Then we have these little sky strikers. So the only weird thing about these is, one, there's nowhere in the rule book that actually says how to build them, which is very funny. And then, two, is that there's nowhere in the rule book that actually explains what they do. They show they're constructible on there, but they don't mention anything. So they are sky strikers. The only reference we get in the rule book for these is on this picture here where they have the different things separated, even though they don't show them on the board. They don't show anything separated, really, is they have a picture of a Sky Striker jet. So there must be something in the game that lets you get more of these and do stuff. So I just kind of want to show how these were built, because they're a little bit more tricky. Is these fold down. And this is where you have to be careful, because if you fold on these too much, you're going to break them. And I don't know if that's why they gave you two of them. Is not that you're supposed to have 5 or 6 at a time, or like, well, 2 at a time with this, you know, but if they did it so you have a spare in case one gets broke. Yeah, then it just kind of slaps in there, gives you a little 3D thing, and then it kind of sits up like that. So that's kind of neat. Then we do have our damage tokens as well, that you can put on your ship wherever. And then you'll notice we have all these slots. These are for the upgrades. So we'll start off with the flight deck right off the bat, which only has, they're double-sided, so you can read it from whatever player's playing it. And they have little notches on them. So you start with the flight deck, which says, all ability text on Joes are ignored. All transport abilities on U.S.S flag are activated. At the end of this mission, return all transports to the hangar. So when the game starts off, you take this tile and you just slide it in there. Now you have the flight deck active. Then throughout the game, and we're going to have some spoilers here, so just heads up. I'm going to spoil these parts of it because they're cards. We get extra upgrades. And again, they're double-sided. We have Steam, Catapult. All transports have +1 capacity. Or, if we flip them over to the other side, the electromagnetic catapult. Any player may assign Joes to a side mission even if they're not active and so will gain 1 hit. So this, you would do is actually, so if we put like a flight deck back down there, is a stitch dropped into one of these spots over here. So now I'm using the electromagnetic catapult, but if you play the other direction, and this is one of the things where the game can get different every time you play. You can pick different vehicles. So we have the weapons. We have 20mm cannon, overkill. When you complete a mission with at least double hits, gain 1 extra star that turn. Or the 76mm anti-ship gun, overkill. When you complete a mission with at least double hits, each player on that mission draws a card. We have the control tower, the radar system. You may peek at any face-down complication. Alright, so we have the control tower, the radio system. You may peek at all face-down complications. Complications still resolve normally. Or if we flip it to the other side, we have... Sorry, it got blurry here. There we go. You may spend 5 stars to repair during your recruit phase. To give you some different options there. And that might be like, if that's like mission 3 and you have a really damaged ship, you might opt to repair. If you're in good condition, you might choose the other one. The last ones, we have the deck elevator, and I probably didn't put all these in the right spot, so forgive me, I just dropping them down. The deck elevator aerial retrofit. At the start of each episode, add the Sky Striker to the hangar. You may always move Sky Striker from the hangar to the U.S.S. flag. So I'm guessing that's just supposed to be just a little card we're supposed to represent the one ship. It kind of works like the Vamp for the hangar, as the Sky Striker works for this. And then we have the ground retrofit. At the start of each episode, you move the AWE Striker to the hangar. You may always move the AWE Striker from the hangar to the flag. So we could drop that right in there. Now, I don't have them cards to for sure show what they do. Alright, so the last thing I want to show off in this video before we end it, and we do part 2, which has all the top secret envelopes and stuff, which I didn't actually show them off. Yeah, so we have 6 envelopes. As you can see, they are of varying size. Like right in the middle here, we get a bunch of extra stuff by third, and then the rest are kind of that. So that'll be very interesting. As we do have the Raise the Flagg bonus box. So Renegade Studios always offers extra promotional stuff you can get for these games, which is really cool. If you pre-order, obviously this is no longer pre-order, but you can usually buy it on their site. So this one's a little bit different. Usually they're like 3D components to add to replace some of the 2D stuff for the game. This one here just gives you 6 more jets, or Sky Strikers, which is really cool, I guess, if it's either A good replacement pack, or B, it's because there's some way to have multiple jets out on the table at once to do something. So I kind of have to see what the whole point of having potentially 6 of them are. The only thing I do find, again, really funny is that, much like the instruction book, here's a box of these, because you can buy these separately. They have no instruction on how to build them. So that's kind of funny. Alright, so that is a little bit longer video, but kind of going through Raise the Flagg expansion. And then again, check out part 2, where we will go ahead and jump through all of the top secret envelopes for all the spoiler stuff. See you guys then. Bye.